cross-cut the slices and you'll never eat a French fry any other way. The potatoes cut like this will not absorb the fat because they're garnished around. Pineapples cut for your pineapple and cheese salad, cut them the same way. Here is one, and this is a dandy. Cuts any thickness or any size. Open it for a thick slice, close to the top for a thin slice. Saratoga chips, you can make them for 3 or 4 pennies a pound. Just pull the blade towards you like this. If you want the slices thicker than this, open the blade, there's a thick slice. Shoestrings for your Friday fish dinner, cut them down like this. Chop them up for your vegetable soup. What this knife is really intended for is for cutting the cabbage. You know the old-fashioned board, how you rip and tear, sometimes nipping the ends off your fingers. Lay it flat and pull it lightly towards you over the cabbage. The weight of the knife across the cabbage is all that's necessary. Why, ladies, when you get slaw cut as fine as this, you'll certainly appreciate eating it. The crowning feature of the set is the cutter that I'm going to show you now. This is known as the Champeen Vegetable Mincing Knife and Noodle Cutter. Now, when you want to make some real fine noodles at home, you roll the dough out like this. Dip this into a little flour so it doesn't stick to the dough, and as you roll it over the dough, that will cut the noodles in long strips, 10 at a time. Did you ever try to chop up a little nuts for cake? Why, I've seen ladies chop nuts and the nuts land up on the ceiling. Sometimes you chop the ends off your fingers. When you want to chop up a little nuts for cake, cooked meat, clams for chowder, soup greens to throw into your soup, making a little pepper or chicken hash is just a few strokes rolling it up and down. Why, here is without a doubt the meanest thing in the world to cut parsley. Put that in a grinder, you really grind it too fine. This machine, instead of crushing the parsley, cuts it quick, clean, and dry, leaving every bit of the juice and every bit of the flavor. Now, to clean this machine, you press the button. Rinse it out in a little water. When you're through using it, hang it up and let it dry. Here's one here that every lady should have in her home, known as the Parisian scoop. You lay it flat, once to the right, once to the left. When you scoop them out, you'll get a perfect round little ball. You can pot roast these, cut them out of cheese or cut them out of butter. When you're serving a fruit cocktail in the summertime, take your fresh cantaloupe, scoop them out like this, mix them with apples, pears, and watermelons, makes a delicious fruit cocktail served with a little cracked ice like you see here. But here is a tool, ladies, if you ever do get it, you'll thank the day you've seen this demonstration. When you press, it locks. It's like a pair of human hands. Reach in the oven and take the biscuits out of the oven. Ever take the hot potatoes out of the oven and burn yourself on the elbow? A roast chicken out of the oven, a piece of meat out of the pot, spinach, asparagus out of the water. Why, around canning season, when you're preserving the fruits, to take the hot fruit jars out of the water like that, that machine is worth dollars to you. And here's another one that I really know you'll enjoy having in your kitchen, known as the safety grater. No doubt you're familiar with the old-fashioned grater. I've seen ladies take a grater and rip the knuckles off. When you want to grate up potatoes for delicious potato pancakes, this has a smooth, flat edge, impossible to cut yourself. Just like you were washing clothes, you rub it up and down, and you really grate your vegetables real fine, retaining all the flavors and all the juices. Breadcrumbs for when you're serving veal cutlets or anything like that. You want a little breadcrumbs to fry your fish in? Why, there's the greatest proposition in the world. Use that for coconut, cheese, or horseradish. When you're through with it, just hit it down like that. That knocks all the food out. Rinse it out in a little water and hang it up and let it dry. Now, here is a stone made of carborundum and sapphire quartz, which is made purposely to keep these knives sharp. When they get dull, A few strokes over the edge like this, and you can put a keen cutting edge on it. If you have a dull knife or a dull pair of scissors, an old sickle or a scythe, a lawnmower, cleaver, an axe, there's a tool that will really put an edge on the knife so the knife will really cut for you. I just want to give you an idea of how sharp that knife really is when you sharpen it with that stone. Ladies, I've seen some of you try to open up cans. Now, there's a can of Campbell's baked beans. I've seen ladies open up a can and you poke a hole in it, go around the top, hippity-hop, and your finger slips. Let me show you a real proposition. Look, lay it on the can, lift up the safety, and turn the key. That locks itself on the can. No harder than you were winding up your watch. Wind up the key and that'll cut the top off of the can slick and smooth. Notice how the end raises itself up in the air so you can lift the lid off, giving you a clean, smooth edge. Now that can be used for sardine cans, square cans, or round cans, exactly the same way. Now this tool here, my dear friends, needs no introduction. This will save you on an average of $20 to $30 every year you use it as a peeling knife. Here's a grater for cheese, coconut, or horseradish, a fish scaler for scaling your fish, and when you're coring your apple, it's just a slight twist of the wrist, and there's the apple core. There's one more tool that I want you to see, and I want you to watch this one very closely. Many a times when you're baking a pie, you have a pudding in the oven. I've seen ladies wrap a towel around your hand, and many a times you burn your fingers. Hook this onto the pot like this and lift the hot pots off the top of the stove. You've got a pie pan in the oven, catch a hold of the pie pan like this. Why, you couldn't get it off with a team of horses. This will positively lift 100 pounds. There's a pail of water weighs 50 or 60 pounds. That's the way you pick it up. But there's one more tool. I'll be all through and I'll be finished. Oh, now the next tool and the last one is what they call the Sarah Bernhardt cutter. This was invented by the head chef of the Imperial Hotel in the city of Berlin, Germany. You place the screw into the center of the vegetable. Twist the vegetable until the threads catch a hold, then you wind this up. You keep winding until you utilize the whole potato. The faster you turn, the quicker the slices. Why, ladies, here's a machine for slicing onions. The first onion that you slice with this cutter, you'll bless the day you've got a hold of it. Every slice cut exactly the same thickness. Every slice cut the same size. In making what they call a rosette, pull the vegetable out like this. Pin the ends together with a toothpick. Drop that potato into the hot fat and fry it. That will come out like a donut, golden brown. If you're serving a nice fish dinner, a little parsley goes in the center with the fish all around it. Makes a very appetizing dish. Did you ever try to slice onions with a knife? You know how you get one thick slice and one thin slice? Run the knife through the center. That will separate each slice individual. Almost like magic, there is every slice cut exactly the same thickness and the same size. Wouldn't you like to have a set like this in your kitchen? Why, of course you would. Now don't forget, attend this theater every week and receive this 12-piece fascinating... Ladies and gentlemen, the management of this theater takes great pleasure in making this announcement. To each lady attending this theater each week, will receive absolutely free a fascinating 12-piece kitchen cutlery set, one piece each time. It is really interesting and amazing to know how you can prepare your meals in an appetizing and pleasing manner. There's an old saying, and a true one, that what is pleasing to the eye is bound to be pleasing to the appetite. I'm going to demonstrate this set to you, and I want you to watch it very closely. The first cutter that I'm going to show you, now this first one is known as the Parisian cutter. Wind it through the potato like a corkscrew. When the cutter appears on the opposite side, pull the cutter out. Place the handle in the center and twist it out. This is what they call a French curl. When you fry these, they come out like donuts, nice and brown. Serve them with your steaks or pot roast them. Unwind it, there's 2 curls out of the 1 potato. Tomorrow morning for breakfast, wind a little strip of bacon around the potato and serve them with bacon and eggs. They're delicious. Different colored vegetables, wind them together and you get the 2 colors. Here's a little trick cut. Split the curl halfway through the center. If you're making a shrimp salad and you happen to run short of shrimp, mix these in with the regular shrimp. Upon my word, you couldn't tell the difference until you start to eat 'em. Now the rest of the potato, you stuff it. We'll call this a little chicken. We'll call this here some hamburger. You might have a little meat that's been laying in the ice box for a few days. Chop the meat up fine, season it highly, stuff it into the center of the potato and bake them with the skins on. When they're done, cut them in 2. Serve them on the half shell just like that. Serve them in slices when company calls. The more company you have, the thinner you cut the slices. If your mother-in-law calls, give her a beak piece like that. Now the second tool in the set is known as the garnishing knife. Everything you cut with this must come out fancy. Watch this, please. You cut down, you turn the potato, and then you cut through the edge. First one way and then the other. Sweet potatoes cut like this, drop them into a little batter of pancake flour and fry them. When they're golden brown, sprinkle molasses on them. Serve them with strips of bacon for breakfast while they're delicious. Here's beets, you pickle them, and carrots, you steam or cream them. In making the original French fried potato, cut them in thick slices. Put them one on top of each other. Cross-cut the slices, and you'll never eat a French fry any other way. The potatoes cut like this will not absorb the fat because they're garnished around. Pineapples cut for your pineapple and cheese salad, cut them the same way. Here is one, and this is a dandy. Cuts any thickness or any size. Open it for a thick slice, close to the top for a thin slice. Saratoga chips, you can make them for 3 or 4 pennies a pound. Just pull the blade towards you like this. If you want the slices thicker than this, open the blade, there's a thick slice. Shoestrings for your Friday fish dinner, cut them down like this. Chop them up for your vegetable soup. What this knife is really intended for is for cutting the cabbage. You know the old-fashioned board, how you rip and tear, sometimes nipping the ends off your fingers. Lay it flat and pull it lightly towards you over the cabbage. The weight of the knife across the cabbage is all that's necessary. Why, ladies, when you get slaw cut as fine as this, you'll certainly appreciate eating it. The crowning feature of the set is the cutter that I'm going to show you now. This is known as the Champeen Vegetable Mincing Knife and Noodle Cutter. Now, when you want to make some real fine noodles at home, you roll the dough out like this. Dip this into a little flour so it doesn't stick to the dough, and as you roll it over the dough, that will cut the noodles in long strips, 10 at a time. Did you ever try to chop up a little nuts for cake? Well, I've seen ladies chop nuts and the nuts land up on the ceiling. Sometimes you chop the ends off your fingers. When you want to chop up a little nuts for cake, cooked meat, clams for chop.
Hello. How we doing today? What's new? What's happening? Hopefully everyone's having a great day. Get a little music going. Although it's a little loud, isn't it? Yeah, let's make sure that's at the right volume level here. Lovely. so I get to reset this volume every time I do it. There we go. Well, let's see how we're doing here on Stream Raiders to start. Make sure I've got everything going with that. Let's see what our quests are. Not much there. Place units, win 4 battles, get a unit to 30, that's going to take a bit. Kill 5 flying units, man. So basically I just got to put armored units out there. Army's looking alright. How's our store looking? Breacher tank, flag, I'll leave the rest. We'll go back to our battlefield there. Got another 16 minutes for you guys to get another 3 characters on there. Gotta kill armored units. Thank you, Entropy. Some of them are really hard, and some of them are, like that last one, I shouldn't have been able to get that last one. That last one wasn't that bad. Prairie. I mean, it's not hugely food, but... So, extra stream tonight. I'm going to be trying to compare the 2 ways of doing scrambled eggs between former and current New York Times writers Mark Bittman and Kenji Lopez-Alt. Both of which I think are great food writers if you guys are into reading articles and doing that sort of stuff. Mark Bittman is he's done a lot of almost vegetarian, and like for a good part of his time he was doing stuff at the New York Times. He was doing like 5 days vegetarian and like 2 days with meat or something along that line. I forget exactly what it was. And he's moved on from New York Times since then. He's now doing stuff out here in California. He was sort of like the developer of the initial New York Times food recipes and food videos and their YouTube stuff. And Kenji's made a name for himself elsewhere and has sort of picked up the New York Times because that's his place to write for, sort of a thing. And so he does I think he does like a monthly article for him. And monthly or weekly, I think it's a monthly article. And he just the other day put out one on his way to do scrambled eggs, which has some ways that are a little bit different from normal. But he's sort of known for doing things with more of a scientific method behind it. He throws away a lot of the traditional stuff that people are taught. And he's adopted a lot of stuff that other people have put out there as scientifically and, you know, sort of made it his own. But he's also approached many things and improved many recipes on his own. He's got a great cookbook. So that's the 2 we're talking about. But before we get into all that, I'm going to make myself a drink for tomorrow morning. I'm finishing up some Yerba Mate here. But I've been drinking canned Yerba Mate of various brands. And I decided that I wanted to make it a little bit cheaper for myself, potentially. And so I'm going to try tonight to make some cold Yerba Mate for tomorrow morning when I wake up. See how that works out. See if that's too complicated of a process here. If maybe I can do a couple of days at a time, that'd be awesome. Hopefully it'll stay well. But let's see what we got. So we We need to start with boiling some water for that. And we're going to need, I think I'm going to do 4 cups. It'll be 4 bags, 4 cups. Doing Yerba Mate, if you're not familiar, is essentially just another type of tea. It's different origin, different uptake. It's tea. So, but it's got a decent amount of caffeine to it too. So, it's good for the morning, for the wake up, get going. Three cups. So we'll bring that to a boil. We'll open up our container here of Sonoma Yerba Mate. Gayaki is located somewhere here in Sonoma County. Not quite sure where. All sorts of bags in there. Hey, Bun Buns! Oh, one less than that. Oh, there's no... They have no strings or nothing? They not like normal tea bags with a cutesy little dipping tool? Put a clip on the bag so that it stays nice and fresh. I still grabbed 5. Oh well. Let's just throw an extra cup of water in there. Not sure what that was. I'm going to try 2 different ways of mixing this. I've been enjoying drinking it with passion fruit flavor. This is a blueberry flavored one here. So I picked up a bottle of cheapo passion fruit syrup like they use in the bars. And I also picked up these because they were on sale. We got some blood orange San Pellegrino. So we'll try a little bit of each of them here tonight. Get myself absolutely wired and unable to fall asleep tonight. But hopefully I'll be set for tomorrow morning. So how is everyone today? Nice in the guess. Also have in the Discord here, I didn't really do my big announcement on Twitter this week, but Greek Seasoning has won our ingredient vote, and so Greek Seasoning tomorrow night. Haven't figured out what I'm going to do for that at all, actually. Actually, I should probably have that all planned out at this point, and I normally do, but I've just been so slacking this week that I'm just trying to push myself through. I'm sorry to hear about you losing your friends. that's a rough one. I've lost some people I care about this past year too. Wish you luck on a good job. There's all sorts of restaurant jobs popping up now that they're able to serve people again. Not having a job is a horrible thing too, because it allows you to sit there and dwell on things too. It's not very productive in any sense. So maybe do a little house cleanup, a little house care. Get yourself busy, get your mind off of stuff you're worried about. And yeah, it won't pay the bills, but maybe you can take the time to improve your life when you do have a job. Make your life a little bit easier. Make it so you can make more money when you're able to make money. Come on, water. Watch pot. Let's see how long it takes to boil. We're actually probably going to be watching a little water boil tonight, because in both cases, I'm going to be using this pan for both of our cases of scrambled eggs. Gonna try and keep things as even as possible, and if I do get things reasonably even in my own mind on these two, I'm going to put a vote up on Twitter and see which one people like better. But I'm going to do them almost completely separate so that... Sorry, I got the hiccups or something going on here. But want to bring the pan up and hopefully have the pan at about the same temp to start the eggs in both of them. I'm hoping to do like 212-ish, boiling water-ish. I'm going to sort of steal Kenji's method for making sure the pan's at the right temperature, because you can get that pan hotter than that, and you can start off with a cold pan. This is sort of in the middle. Welcome in, Glass. How you doing today? I saw you're making lots of progress with the guitar. We're working on boiling some water right now. We're making some tea. Aside from that, we're going to be doing some scrambled eggs tonight. It might be a shorter stream. It's certainly not going to be a long stream tonight. But going to try and compare two recipes from two respective food writers here out of the New York Times. I'm doing quite well otherwise. Well, I say I'm doing quite well, but I've been struggling and slacking like the whole last week. I've been struggling to even get out of bed every day. So doing an extra stream here to sort of keep going, move. Which is probably going to backfire tomorrow. I'll be an absolute mess tomorrow, but we'll see. Yeah. This winter has been long. I'm always bad at the end of winter, too. It's actually not been that bad this year. But usually, it's because it hasn't rained enough. But here in Northern California, we basically get next to no rain from, like, April until late November. And then it rains, like, it's Seattle through winter. And normally it's just dreary and nasty, and you just don't want to go outside. Even though it's not really that cold, it's just rainy. Meh. And so I still get that same sort of stuck-in feeling in winter that you get when you're living somewhere that it's snowy. But I still so much prefer not having to deal with, like shoveling the driveway and stuff in order to go to work and things like that. Nope, we're still doing tomorrow, Wolfie. Doing an EGG-stra stream today. So welcome in. We're waiting on some water to boil here. We're going to start off by doing a little tea action. Let's see how long we're supposed to... not even very... I'm going to have to do some experimenting with this too to see how long of a brew I want to do, because they say 5 to 10 minutes. That's not very exact. It's not very bright. You just get my main door is right here, and it's got windows in the top. There's typical like 3 small windows at the top of a door, sort of a thing. And the sun's coming right through there right now. It's the perfect time of day for that. And so the refrigerator's looking nice and bright, but the rest of the place is pretty good as far as lighting, as far as I'm concerned. So how you doing today, Wolfie? What's new? What's happening? And by not doing anything, not being slow and being like tired and run down, I did like nothing on Monday. Like, I slept most of the day. Like, I was completely like non-functional the entire day yesterday. Almost ready for our first battle here. That's nice. Getting there with the water. I would call that a boil, but I don't call that a rolling boil. There's our battle. Alright. Interesting. Now we got pop-ups on the battle there. 1 minute ad. Well, anyone that's seen the ad didn't hear that, but... Now we get pop-ups on the screen here. Spellbound quest. And it's just win 4 battles. Okay. This one looks like it's going to be a pretty easy one. Yeah, we basically got this done already. Nice. Nice. Victory. Entropy with the kills and the rewards. And onto the loyalty chest up here. Not quite there yet, but next battle. I'm going to start in the corner then. We'll see if we get more things popping up over time here or not. It doesn't say that there will, so maybe you guys can just spread out and take everything out quick. Where are these? Oh, they're just decorations. Okay. So we got our boiling water now. And our 5 bags of Yerba Mate tea. Do I ever really... I have to do all that way up? Yeah, annoying. So that's a 5-minute timer going. You guys probably can't see it. It's on the far side of the fridge, but I have a magnetic timer on the fridge. Create our very green looking tea here. It's getting browner here though. It started off really green. Probably gonna get every tea fanatic in the world going, that's not how you do it. What are you confused by, me Huberman? Are you confused since it's an extra day today? I'm giving you an extra day of Jason. We're making some tea right now. I'm making some Yerba Mate. The idea is I want to brew the tea, cool it down, and then later on we're going to try it with 2 different flavorings. See what works. See if they work. And after that, we're going to be trying out 2 different scrambled eggs recipes, both from respective food writers. And we'll see which one's the better scrambled egg. And I if it turns out being as even, I hope to make it. We'll do a vote and put it up on Twitter and see how many people give their opinion on it there. So how are you doing tonight, Druzy? How are you, Huberman? "35 seconds. Okay, I got a timer going. Ooh, that is a day. Did you have some bad weather or something, or is it just an old tree? Grab a container here for our tea when it's not in active use. For the record, I reuse the lids, but I don't reuse them when I'm canning with them. Once you can with the lids, you don't really want to reuse them for canning again. That's because the sealing material doesn't really last. But for this case, we just want to make a seal, so it's not like it needs to be sealed. We just don't want the basic stuff in and out. Well, I appreciate that, Uberman. I would expect most of you guys got a couple of tabs open. I hardly ever just watch one streamer at a time. But then again, I have streams open like all the time. To be honest, Uberman, I wasn't keeping track of the time, but it was less than 2 minutes, so... Oh, okay. Nice, Druzy. I appreciate that. So we've got our maybe 6 minutes or so. There's a 5-minute timer, but it was at least 30 seconds before I put it in there. Fish these out into the compost. I'm going to add 5 ice cubes to my... Well, the ones that don't fall on the floor. Okay. Got 5 normal sized solid ice cubes there. To help the cooling process. And too much to fit in the jar. Which is good to know. That was only like an ounce or 2. It's probably the amount of ice. Yeah, computer stuff has been expensive for the last 1.5 years too, though. It all spiked up in price with pandemic. And why lower the prices if people are going to keep buying it? What happened to that ice? Disappeared. So eggs. Let's study these 2 recipes here first. I'm going to start with Bittman's first. And this was originally, I think, on New York Times. I don't know if it was or not. A lot of his stuff was... That's not even the right recipe. I'll be one moment. Get the right recipe over here. La-da-da. confused. No worries, Superman. There we go. So, competing New York Times, we've got Kenji Lopez-Alt versus Mark Bittman. So, best scrambled eggs versus extra creamy scrambled eggs. "30 minutes or more." Wow. This is a different one than I thought I read earlier. Oh, she usually shows up eventually. She doesn't usually show up at the beginning of my streams, though. Yeah, she is the... Well, actually, there's a couple of them that are pretty good at scramble these days. Marisol is a good guess. No, I'm just getting started here, Huberman. We've only been live, what? 47 minutes, and so we've been live about 30 minutes. About 15 of that was my loading screen, or getting started, or coming soon. We've only had enough time to make some tea. So I'm going to start by adding some water to a pan and getting this at a boiling level, which is the method that Kenji recommends. I'm probably butchering his name. I've never heard his name properly said, even though I've watched countless videos of his and read a lot of his stuff, and even have his book, which this is a pretty good book. If you're looking for a general purpose cooking book, I mean, it's James Beard and forgetting that International Association of Culinary Professionals Cookbook of the Year. It's been out a couple of years, but he's still doing stuff off of it. Great cookbook. But I've got a laundry list of cookbooks back here. Mark Bittman has written as many, if not more, books. He puts out like a book a year. So he's got some good ones out there too. So we need some eggs. And we're probably going to need some butter. And we're probably going to need some veg oil. Awesome, Hooverman. I do have, what is it, Amazon? There we go. Of course, my other bots showed up at the same time there. But if you noticed, tried and tested by me, Tools and Gadgets. That's my affiliate link, which I think all of those same tools there in the video are in that list. And yeah, won't cost you anymore, but it'll give me a couple of cents. So we got our water on the stove back there boiling. We need 4 eggs for each of these tonight. Oh, we need some cream. That's a bummer, I don't have any cream. Yeah, I don't want to use that. So we're going to cheat, and this isn't going to be scientific anymore. We're going to add a little sour cream instead of regular cream. It's going to give us the same, I would think it would give us much of the same results as far as adding the dairy to our proteins. Salt and pepper. Salt and pepper now, according to him. We're whisking just to combine. I'm not looking to get these light and foamy. We're not looking to, I think right about there. Whites are combined. I would normally do a little bit more than this, but that's what he's saying, just until combined. And per the website here, it says butter or oil. However, the argument that I was reading on Twitter was this should be olive oil. And so I'm going to do olive oil instead of butter. Oops. There we go. The idea with this method here, putting the water in the pan, is that the water is going to keep the pan from heating above a boiling level because it's going to pull all that heat away. And so when that water evaporates, it should be relatively around the point of boiling water. It should be around 212 Fahrenheit. refilled my hummingbird feeders yesterday, and they've already found them. It's amazing how fast animals can discover things like that. Like, both the hummingbirds and the bees have discovered that there's new food in these in less than a day. And it's not like anything has really changed about them. And it's not even like the bees attack. I have one right next to my window right here. And the bees climb under like the bottom of it because it gets an occasional drip underneath from the heat pressure from the sun on it. Pushes a couple drops out every day. And they climb underneath it and lick it off of there. Okay, so I'm going to add olive oil to this pan now. That was about 2 ounces. Make sure we got a coat on our non-stick pan here. And we'll add our eggs. We're going to turn the heat down on this. We got an immediate sizzle, but it should cool that pan down pretty quick. And 30 minutes of cooking here. We're going to take our spatula and start moving around. Just want to keep everything from sticking. Primarily pushing from the edges towards the center. If you can, you want to fold, sort of like you're making an omelet. Sort of scrambled eggs 101 here. We're trying to do for big fluffy curds. I'm going to be astonished if this takes over 5 minutes, much less 30. Wow. 30 minutes to make scrambled eggs? Come on, Bittman. Yeah, this ain't taking 30 minutes here. I don't know how someone could take 30 minutes and have that be in a hot pan. Good guess. Be lucky if this is 5 minutes. This is going to be more like 3. You sure they didn't add a 0 in that recipe? And that's pretty much done. I can't go beyond that because that's going to overcook. 30 minutes, my ass. over here for a quick picture. Take a quick bite first. Yep, those are eggs. So there's our first contestant. Did leave some in the pan here, didn't all easily and freely come off. Although this is a very well cured pan at this point. So we'll get this to clean out. And cool it down, obviously, with cleaning it. And we'll restart the process and do Kenji's. Let's make sure our pan's cold. Yeah, let's make sure our pan's cold. Also, something you shouldn't be doing to any other pan than a cast iron. Probably not even great for your cast iron. Jumps in temperatures, not good. Causes the metal to flex, causes the metal to warp, or rather expands and contracts. And sometimes it can't expand and contract, which then means it warps. Or in the case of these, probably more likely to make the handles fail, even though it's got a pretty, I mean, that's a good 1.5 inches, 2 inches of solid weld there. Same thing in the back here. Actually, I would assume that's probably all molded together, but the top sort of looks like it's welded to me. I don't know. So back onto low flame heat. I'll add a bit of water into the pan again. And let's read Kenji's recipe. Potato starch. 4 tablespoons of butter, so we're doing twice as much fat as this recipe. And a pinch of kosher salt. Let's do our battle in our 1 minute ad. Did you guys get a double battle call for that, or is that just me? Because I got the little woo twice. Hey, Head Mama Bear. Doing an extra stream today. We're actually almost... We only got one more thing to do here, so it's going to be a quick night. Well, we got two things left to do. But we're comparing two types of scrambled egg recipes. And I'm toying with doing some Yerba Mate for my mornings. Let's run our battle. Woohoo! Victory! QNS2 with the kills. Getting the rewards and entropy as well. And we'll do our loyalty battle. Get that loyalty skin. I'm gonna put my tank over here in the corner. Maybe a rogue or two over here, you guys. We got some stuff down here too. Maybe just mostly around me, but you guys do what you want anyways. So let's turn that heat back on the stove back here. Turn the fan on because I'm sweating now. So we're starting with some water and starch. Starch is on the shelf these days, Jason. Two teaspoons of starch too, so it's not like a tiny amount either. This is a decent amount for 4 eggs. But this is where we're deviating from most people's ideas of scrambled eggs, other than maybe those in Asian cultures. And how much water? 1.5 teaspoons. It's not quite as much. That's approximately 1.5. I'll give that a stir up. Turn that into somewhat of a paste here. So we're adding water, we're adding starch. We're automatically going to end up with what is probably going to be a creamier product, as the recipe name suggests. But we're not adding any, well, we're adding extra dairy, but only in the form of butter here. We're doing 2 tablespoons of butter in with the eggs and starch. and it says it's cubed. Four eggs. Now, see, one thing that I'm liking more about Bittman's is he respects pepper. There's no pepper in this recipe from Kenji. I sort of feel like I should add pepper nonetheless, but I'm going to follow the recipe as close as I am. Until no lumps remain other than the butter. So we're going to start by we get that starch up off the bottom. No lumps remain makes me think more along the lines of how I typically do my scrambled eggs, whereas you're scrambling this until it's like a smooth mixture, versus this one was a little bit more of a just to combine. I think we're there. Yeah, you don't... There's still a little... Okay. This has also got those lumps of butter in with the eggs, so those are going to contribute to cooking them slower and adding more moisture to them as they cook, rather than allowing that to immediately evaporate out. Getting close on our pan here. Move that up there for the moment. We're going to do the same plate, same everything. And I'll put both of them up on Twitter so you guys can make your vote for which ones you guys think are better. Melted and foamy, but not brown. Butter 5000. How many laps does it take to melt a pat of butter? In with our eggs. Grab a clean spatula since that one's already got stuff. Certainly lots of butter here. I approve of the butter content. I don't know if my heart does, but my eyes do. Starting to get a little stickage here now too. So I'm going to pull that out now. It's starting to get to the point where we're getting sizzling sounds like we're no longer solidifying and more cooking to me. You still have some butter and a little bit of egg sticking there. But I think this is aged a minute. So it's not fresh out of the pan. We're going to have to compare the photos. But to me, this is a clear standout. Alright, so let's put the poll up on the internet here. But, just looking at these have dried out a bit. So you got to picture these as being a bit more dried out from time. But, yeah, these just look so much better. So much better. I don't know, I guess I'm influencing the vote here. Give me a moment here and I'll clean up the pictures, crop them, all that good stuff. Crop to picture 1. It's so nice that there's now a square crop on the photo app. I was taking the time to have to go through and crop all of my pictures before I use them for my website or for my overlays. Poll. Oh, come on. Working on making my pull here. Oh, you can't do pictures and a poll? Come on, Twitter. Aw. No bueno. I gotta add him as follow-up tweets. Who's scrambled eggs recipe reigns supreme? There we go. All up on Twitter. And get a link for you guys. So go ahead and make your votes. Got a 24-hour on that. Well, we'll discuss that tomorrow night. But what do you guys think? Just sitting here in chat, even after these been sitting for a minute, I'm still thinking these are superior to. Yeesh. Schnitzel. Schnitzel's what Kenji Lopez has been working on recently. He's been working on perfecting it, and wow, some of the pictures of the stuff that he's coming out with, these thin pieces of meat, but like, you know, half-inch bubbles on either side of it, just crispy, airy. He's also been putting out some awesome photos of no-knead bread that he's been doing in that new Anova, like, combi oven. If you guys are familiar with the different types of ovens that are out there, at least in the commercial world, you have conventional, which is what most people have in their home ovens. You have convectional, which has a fan blowing around, moving the air around. That typically cooks 20-25 degrees cooler than a conventional oven in temperature, so you can do the same recipe with less heat. And then you get into combi ovens, which there's a couple of different types of combi ovens, but the one that Anova is putting out there is sort of like a countertop version of it for the home cook. And it's got one of those water reservoirs, sort of like a, what do you call it, a K-cup coffee machine. And it's a normal oven, but it also allows steam injection, and so you can control how much steam is in the oven. And he's been doing breads with steamed action, which, but there's also combi ovens in commercial kitchens that also use a microwave as well. And so you can quick heat something up with the microwave and then blast it with some steam to get the outside sort of really cooked, and then blast it with high heat and do a chicken in like a quarter of the time that it would take you normally to cook it. Which is why we have like Buffalo Wild Wings as a business. That you wouldn't be able to cook wings at that rate baking them the way that they do versus frying them, which is Hooters. Anyways, so those are our 2 eggs. Those are up on the Twitter now. And now we're going to go back to toying with Yerba Mate before we call it a early night. I will be back here tomorrow night with the Greek seasoning, which won our vote for this week. So we got our... This is still warm, but this is cool enough that I'm willing to call it cold tea. Let's try a little of this passion fruit first. You're not going to be able to get in it now. But you were in it already, so... That's sort of weird. Normally it shouldn't allow you to join in after the fact. Oh well. So, we got passion fruit syrup, which I haven't tried before. But I was enjoying the passion fruit yerba mates. And I was looking online and you can't find, at least at a reasonable price, passion fruit. Oh wow, that's powerful smell. I'm smelling that just from open the bottle over here. But we don't want a ton of this in there. So let's do tablespoon. But passion fruit, if you haven't, it's probably what you're missing in your fruit punch. But this is obviously simple syrup that's been flavored like passion fruit. It's not actual passion fruit. I would love to find like actual straight passion fruit juice. And it was just way too pricey. So this cup handles about 16 ounces. I know it handles about 16 ounces from doing coffee in the past. So we'll lose a little spillage there, but that's about a 16 ounce pour right there. Messy. Spilling my tea all over. I recognize this song. I didn't know that I had this in the list. Maybe the only song that I recognize out of this playlist. Let's give that a stir first. See what we get here. I mean, that's not a lot of sweetness to be... I mean, it's simple syrup. It's the stuff that they... This is the stuff they... Well, probably a different brand. But this is essentially what Starbucks uses for all of its flavorings, too. Yeah, I can do that. It's a little bit greener than the canned stuff. The canned stuff you don't notice as much. This is definitely more tea-like. It's more herby. It's greener. Yeah, I could probably handle this. Sort of want it a little bit sweeter, but it might be sweet enough on its own, just like it is right now. It's sweet enough in the sense that I want it to be sweeter, but can handle it like this. This has also got a bit more of a peach flavor to it than I expected too. Got their packing label over the ingredient list here. Let's see what we got in here. First ingredient is sugar. Second ingredient is water. So good stuff for you. Sugar, water, natural flavors. and citric acid. Ugh. The rest of those coloring, preservative, acids, probably just barely enough in order them to balance the pH levels. I don't know if I dig that or not. It's tasty. And even though there's not a ton of sugar in there, it's still making my mouth a little sticky, for lack of a better way of saying that. Let's try a different way of doing this. I want to try this with the San Pellegrino too. But we're going to have to go back to doing measurements with this. These were on sale. I normally wouldn't pay the extra money for these. These things are normally... I like their products, but they're usually so expensive because they're usually imported or pretending to be imported. Oh, I guess there was a pretty way to open that box. Oh well. I love how they put the foil on the outside of this can, like it's still gonna preserve it or some shit. I mean, like, the top isn't enough, we gotta put foil over the top. Let's see, what's the size on this guy? It's not even 12, it's 11.15 ounces. Such a weird size. Let's try, just to give myself an actual metric to see where this actually is like, let's do a half cup of this, which is their blood orange. And 2 cups of tea, or 16 ounces, or a pint. I don't know if that's gonna fit. Perfect fit. Cheers. Actually, let's give this a stir too. Not that I think it really needs it with the little bit of carbonation there, which has pretty much already been killed off by the extra tea thrown in there. Oh, I don't like that at all. No. That's not a winner. That's no. No. And I can see why now, yeah. This is just not going to work with tea. That is just the blood orange, like that, like pith rind flavor that you get with, especially with these, but with orange flavored. Yeah. I'm tempted to just throw this out. I'm going to give it another shot, but Chihuahua. Good guess on that one. That one. I can see that one. I can see that one. That wasn't too scrambled. Yeah, I can't do this. That's a no. But this I can do. Welcome in, Trigger. We're just sort of wrapping up here, actually. We've got another battle to run, and then I think we're gonna call it an early night. I've made 2 batches of eggs here, which this was the Mark Bittman recipe for making scrambled eggs. And this is the Kenji Lopez-Alt recipe for making scrambled eggs. And I've got a vote going up on Twitter there for what one people think is the better set of eggs. But we got our battle coming up here. Let's do our 1-minute ad. Have a good one, Huberman. Thanks for stopping by. But yeah, I think I can handle that. Let's try that with a little extra sugar. I'm usually a good over easy fan myself. I rarely do scrambled eggs. I do it on occasion, usually when I'm doing like a sandwich or something, and I don't want that runny egg. Let's try this with a little bit more sugar. It's about the same, actually. It's definitely more herby than the canned stuff, but that's not bad. I think I might want to try and find something to pair with this to go in there, not just do straight passion fruit. Maybe we can find something like something acidic and bright, like maybe a pear or something like that to pair with it. I like raspberry, but raspberry it's usually got a little too much of a bite to it for my taste. But raspberry would probably be good if you're a big raspberry fan. Victory! And it's a reward chest. Entropy with the kills, me with the assists. Entropy with the 200 gold, big gold winner. Some gold for me. Some rogue scrolls, because I'm always putting my rogue out there, aren't I? And we'll start with this here tomorrow night. I'm gonna be doing Greek seasoning here. Gotta find someone here to give a raid to. Well, if there's controversy or thoughts on the eggs, we'll discuss that tomorrow, during tomorrow's stream. Okay. Well, why don't we go hang out with a different potter than I normally send you guys to. It's a little early for Rhino to be on. I normally send you guys to Rhino at least once a month, but we're going to go and hang out with another potter that I've recently discovered here on Twitch. Oh, come on. Gonna make it hard for me to find her. Alright. So I'm gonna raid Iron Leaf Potter here. She's working on throwing some pottery. I'd like to thank you guys for joining me for my quick EGG-stra stream today. I'm gonna go and enjoy these eggs These, maybe we'll eat these too. But these are gorgeous compared. What do you guys think? Let me know on Twitter. But Iron Leaf Potter, another streamer here on Twitch doing pottery. I hope you enjoy. From what little I've seen of her, she is a great streamer. I hope you have a great night. And I will see you back here tomorrow. Goodbye.